Hey Taurus, welcome to your mid-month reading for February. This is just going to be a simple what are you attracting reading. So the first card is going to be representative of your current energy, kind of your current vibe. The second card is going to represent what it is that you are attracting. And then your third card is going to be your advice. As I was pre-shuffling your cards, the message that I got was for you not to get too frustrated or too down, or too lost in your grief over something that didn't work out, okay? Because something really beautiful and a lot better is coming your way. And by whatever it is that didn't work out, by just moving forward from that, you're going to, by releasing that, you're going to be opening up space for the next beautiful thing that's coming into your life or person. The Ace of Cups did come up, so I'm assuming it is a emotional connection. So if you know you kind of had your sights set on someone, or you kind of were talking to someone, and this was something in the early stages, because we had it was the Page of Wands that came up. So it was something in the early stages that didn't end up working out and left you disappointed. But that's okay, because you know all you really need to do from that is learn what you need to learn, because there's always something to be learned from experiences like that. Learn what you need to learn and then move forward, okay? Don't get too caught up in whatever didn't work out, because we have good, beautiful things coming in, okay? So for some of you, that message was for you. So let's move on to the actual reading. Let's see. First card is the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So interesting. We have the Hermit in for what it is you're attracting, and then we have the Five of Wands for your advice. So let's see, we have at the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups in reverse, and we have the Chariot in reverse, and we also have the Ace of Swords in reverse and the Lovers. So what I see here is there's something that you aren't seeing, okay? Something, you're not seeing the complete picture when it comes to something. Probably has to do with an ex or a relationship that didn't work out. And we have the Chariot in reverse, and you're having a really hard time moving on. And the reason why you haven't moved on yet is because there's still something for you to learn. We have the Hermit here. And it's next to the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So there's something that you really need to reflect on, that you really need to meditate on, okay? You need to invite that energy into your space, because as long as you don't do the work, do the inner work, kind of take a step back and really try to understand what happened here, okay, with the Ace of Cups in reverse. We have the Five of Wands. So if you're not learning the lesson that needs to be learned, there's gonna be continual conflict. Okay, stop fighting it. Basically, stop fighting the very necessary process of understanding what happened. I think a lot of us, our initial reaction once a relationship doesn't go well, or once a relationship ends, or once we experience something that really makes us uncomfortable, or something that doesn't work out the way we want it to, I think our initial reaction is to sort of ignore it or distract ourselves, because we need that sort of temporary relief. Like, we don't want to be overwhelmed in thinking about everything that happened. So we look for a distraction, right? But that really keeps us from learning the lessons. And because before you know it, then you're in another relationship, right? That's usually how it goes. So you never actually take the time to learn what you need to learn, right? So because of that, nothing actually changes and you don't actually move forward. You stay in the same place. You don't see things that you need to see. You're not being honest with yourself. Okay, we have the Lovers here. So, getting past all of these sort of barriers, of lack of clarity, of feeling stuck, being unable to really move forward. The Chariot in reverse is a very, very important card because it talks about people relying too much on fate and not taking the necessary actions themselves in order to get something moving, right? So how do you, if you're the type of person, or if you are wanting to find that really beautiful, awesome love and enter in a beautiful relationship, how are you gonna be able to find that? This is your message. You're not gonna be able to get that unless you do the work. Okay, understand what happened in the past in the relationships that didn't work out. And this is such an important message because so many people just move on from person to person to person. And I'm not saying having multiple partners or dating a lot is wrong. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, how can you fully engage? How can you fully share, you know what I mean, and do your part in a relationship when you don't know yourself, you don't understand yourself well enough. And I'm saying that because you need to understand your mistakes. You need to see yourself in another person's sort of perspective. And what I'm saying is, I'm sorry, the messages are coming in pretty fast. What I'm saying is, for some of you, your issue, the reason why things didn't work out, is because you didn't take the time to put yourself in another person's shoes, in that other person's shoes, whoever it was that you were dealing with, whatever past partner this was. You didn't take the time to put yourself in their shoes to really see yourself and really see yourself from a different perspective and understand your own faults, understand your mistakes. Okay, so you can't really move in the direction of a really good, healthy relationship if you're not doing the work necessary to understand what your mistakes have been in the past, because you're always going to repeat the same mistakes if you don't take the time to be honest with yourself, if you're not courageous enough to be honest with yourself. Okay, and the Ace of Swords is also the victory card, but it's in reverse here for you. So you're not really going to find that victory in a relationship like the Lovers, that very strong bond. You can't do that unless you're honest with yourself. You need to create the environment for things to move forward, and the way to do that is to really go within and gain the understanding that you need, because there's a lot of conflict, right? The conflict is not going to stop unless the inner turmoil, you're just going to carry that into your next relationship. And it looks like with what I'm seeing here, it really looks like you're wanting to move on to the next relationship. You're wanting to avoid doing the work with the Page of Pentacles in reverse here. But really what that's creating is a sort of stagnation. Okay. And what do I mean when I say do the work? Like I said, be honest with yourself. Understand that it takes two. It takes two to make things work, but it also takes two to mess things up, right? So it's not always just one person's fault. Of course, you do have those abusive relationships where you have the abuser who does a lot of really toxic, unhealthy, obviously abusive things, but for a lot of other relationships that are not in that situation, really it's two people coming together, and two people aren't perfect. Those two people aren't perfect, right? we each have our faults, we have our own toxic traits. So those are the things that you really need to look at in order to move forward, because other than that, if you don't, this is what I'm seeing for you. We have like I said, constant conflict, and the blockage, from moving forward. So that's your reading, Taurus. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back for March readings pretty soon, so I will see you then. Good luck with everything, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of the month.